Hi, this is the third class in the series of SLPL classes, and this is class SLPLE3, which talks about subject and predicate. I was talking about this subject and predicate in the second class when we were talking about these two words. I told that these two would form the major chunk of English language learning. Major chunk of English language learning. If you understand these two concepts properly, which of course many people neglect it at the very beginning because these two they feel do not have any prominence in the language learning. But as a language teacher, I would like to warn you, I would like to advise you, and I would like to instruct you to understand these two concepts very clearly and keep using it, keep identifying it, and keep telling it to others so that you would learn in a better way. Teachers, they have a lot of experience because they learn by teaching. That is the reason. Even I advise you, whatever that you learn today, tell it to somebody, teach to your younger ones or anybody who you come across so that you can learn better. So you learn better when you teach. That's the reason teachers have a lot of experience because they teach many number of times. Now let us come back to this subject and predicate SLPLE3 class, and this is part of sentence foundations. We are going to discuss so many topics under the major heading called sentence foundations, and this is the third class in that series. Now I have written here subject on one side, predicate on the other side, and on the bottom left side of this board you have two definitions: subject definition and predicate definition. They look to be simple, no doubt about that, and they are simple indeed. Subject is part of which something is told. Predicate is part that tells something about the subject. So again, it seems to be simple, at the same time they seem to be complicated. So instead of understanding this first, let us come back to this subject, then we will go to predicate, then again we will slowly derive the definitions of subject and predicate. Now, subject usually comes first in any sentence. If you observe, and if at all you go back to your previous class, kinds of sentences: assertive, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. If at all you take any sentence, subject comes first. And look at this word. Not always, please. Usually comes first. The sun rises in the east. The sun is the subject. He is playing now. He is the subject. I am talking. I, subject. The telephone is ringing now. Telephone is the subject. So usually comes first. But occasionally it may be anywhere, or it may be put anywhere in the sentence. Usually, if at all you go poetic, if at all you also go dramatic, like you read certain sentences in Shakespearean dramas, you don't find subject first, but you find subject written at some other point of the sentence. This is very clear that it is not a general rule that subject should come first, but it is the intention of the writer or of the poet and what importance that you would like to give it to subject. If there is no importance to subject, or if subject is understood, usually you don't write any subject. The thief was arrested. If you take this sentence as an example, the thief was arrested. What is the subject in this one? Do you feel it the thief? No. In this sentence, which is a passive voice of the sentence, the subject is missing and it is understood. Actually, the sentence should be, the thief is arrested by the police. Did you write by the police? No, we write only the thief is arrested, which sentence is in passive voice, and who will arrest the thief? Only the police. So it is understood, and the subject is missing in passive voice. And here, if at all you understand this one, in imperative sentences, do you remember imperatives that we talked about in SLPLE2? One of the kinds of sentences. In imperatives, which talk about wish, command, or request, subject is missing. Like if I say go, I never say you go. If I say please give me a pen, I never say you please give me a pen. If I say congratulations, I never say I congratulate you. All these subjects are missing because in imperatives, subject is missing. That is one of the things that you need to remember, and usually comes first. I gave you some examples. Occasionally, anywhere, and this is, I told you, it's maybe poetic. Sweet are the uses of adversity, a very very great sentence from Shakespeare. Sweet are the uses of adversity. Actually, the subject of this sentence is the uses of adversity. All these four words is considered to be subject, but it is put somewhere because Shakespeare wants to give importance to sweet, not the uses of adversity. So it all depends on poetic, it all depends on dramatic, it all depends on the intention or emotional outburst or the will and wish of the writer to put the subject somewhere or anywhere, or in sentences like imperatives, even miss it. So, first point usually comes first, occasionally maybe put anywhere. And another important thing to remember is subjects are always nouns or pronouns. But remember, all nouns and pronouns are not subjects, but all subjects are definitely nouns or pronouns. So if I ask you by giving you a sentence, come on, in this sentence, identify the subject, then what do you look at, or what do you look for? You look for nouns or pronouns. If only one noun is there, or if only one pronoun is there, subject is identified. But if many nouns are there, or if one noun, one pronoun is there, then you need to be very very cautious. Then of course you need to come to the rescue by using the definition of which something is told, find out the subject, or which tells something about the subject, that is predicate. Rather, in another magical way, you need not even identify the predicate, because once you identify the subject, naturally the remaining part of the subject sentence is called predicate. So separately, don't try to identify it, but identify the subject and predicate by rule. Subject of which something is told, predicate tells something about the subject. Look at the another point about subject, maybe one word or many words. If only one word is there, that particular word is called subject word. A short while ago, I have given you an example. Sweet are the uses of adversity. The uses of adversity. So many words are there in the subject, but the subject word is uses. Even though there are many words, only one word will be subject word. And what are the remaining words called? The remaining words are called subject adjuncts. What is an adjunct? Adjunct is something that is by the side of, that is beside. So subject adjuncts and subject word. And as I have given you in imperatives, subject is missing. Okay, so if at all you just recollect, subject is a word or part of the sentence that comes first. Occasionally it may be put anywhere. Subjects are usually nouns or pronouns, but all nouns or pronouns are not subjects. Subject is always one word, that is called subject word. And if there are many other words than the subject word, they are all called subject adjuncts. In imperatives, subject is missing. Then if we come to this predicate is a one that always follows the subject, because when it usually comes first, What comes next? Predicate. So once you identify the subject, the remaining is predicate. You need not separately worry about identifying the predicate. But remember that what is predicate? Predicate is always a verb. Apart from the verb, you may have many other words, but main word will be verb. For example, the sun rises in the east. The sun, subject, rises, verb. I am talking, verb. He collects, stamps, collects, verb. And the part that continues along with the verb is called predicate. So it may also be one word or many words. If it is only one word, what is that word? It should naturally be the verb only. The birds fly, fish, swim, etc. In imperatives, you find only predicate, because when an imperative subject is missing, naturally in imperatives only predicate is present. And with this understanding of subject and predicate, I would like you to understand the derivation of the definition. Subject is something of which something is told. When I say the sun rises in the east, what are we talking about? The sun. When I say I am talking, what are we talking about? I. So subject is a part of a sentence of which something is told, and naturally predicate is part of a sentence which tells something about the subject. So everywhere, when you're talking about active voice and passive voice, when you're talking about direct speech or indirect speech, when you're talking about the structure of sentences, when you're talking about main clause, subordinate clauses, etc., when you're talking about noun clause, adjectival clause, whenever you're talking about any part of the grammar, definitely which will trouble you, these two words will trouble you again and again. So kill more time, use more time, practice more time. Don't worry about active as passive as. That will come to you normal and naturally when you master these two words, subject and predicate. So subject and predicate are the most important parts of English language. Apart from this subject and predicate, you also have four more words. One is phrase, the other is clause, and one more one is main clause, other word is subordinate clause. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 words will act like magic in English language. If you master all these 6, I think your understanding of grammar, you are mastering the grammar, your writing, your speaking, your understanding skills will will increase multifold. So keep learning the subject and predicate, and with this I think I would like to close this session of SLPLE3 on subject and predicate. In the next class I am going to talk about these 4, so that I would be giving you all 6 most important concepts of English language, so that we can go further. These are like stepping stones. These are like some things that will give you a support to go further, to climb further. So as we learn subject and predicate, wait for another class that would talk about phrase and clause and main clause and subordinate clause. Okay, keep learning. Thank you.